Call the meeting back to order again, and we have with us Robert Grace this morning. You ready?
I don't really have much for you guys today. I just wanted to, I'm going to meet with, or the airport commission is going to meet on the 10th, I think, and I mean, for a variety of reasons, and I think, as I understand it, you wanted to talk about this airport operator agreement, but I just wanted to find out if you guys had any new information that I can take to that meeting.
Really don't. Robert, I wish we could just leave the contract the way it is. And if you need to be out of town, that maybe you could train somebody to remove snow.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. The agreement that I offered to sign, and I gave you guys at the last meeting, is still on the table, but like on November 1st, I'm going to retract that. I mean, I want to get this done. So the commissioners need to really start focusing on this and figuring out how to solve this problem. I mean, I've been talking to you since May, and there's going to be changes at the airport, and I think you just need to get your minds around that and figure out a way to do it. The snow removal is a problem. I mean, have you guys talked to Wellhelm and Dave about this?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that's part of the reason I'm here, is I just get the feeling that you guys are sort of hoping this will get better on its own, and I just don't think it's going to. The world has changed. My basic argument is that if for the last 30 years, if you would have got together with 10 other county commissioners and told them what agreement you had for the airport, that you were getting a full-time operator, snow removal, mowing, everything for $400 or $500 a month, they would have said, I wish we had that. You know, it's been a really sweet deal for the county for 30 or 40 years, and I'm glad of that, but now it's reality.
Well, you're right, but it's been a sweet deal for Grace Flying too.
I guess.
I think, Robert, where we are at is that the commissioners understand that it's time for a change. And what you're proposing is what you feel would work at this point in time, you know, with you staying on for certain duties and then turning certain duties over to the commissioners. However, I think that there are some concerns when you start piecemealing agreements as to, okay, this part's going to be here, this part's going to be there, instead of having like a whole agreement pertaining to the operating of the airport. It's not a matter that it's being ignored.
Okay.
Just trying to figure out what the options are so that everything is in place to make it work efficiently.
That's what I want.
Right.
Yeah, the other thing I think we're saying too is that we're going to be overwhelming our road and bridge too, because they've got other stuff that they've got to do. We'd rather find someone else.
Look, if you guys can find somebody else to do the whole thing, I mean, I gave you a proposal. If you find somebody else that wants to sign that proposal instead of me, that's fine. Go
Well,
get it.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying with the snow removal is what I'm talking about.
Look,
but if it all has to come in a bundle,
The snow removal is the problem, but it's always been the problem. It's just that it's been done on the cheap for 30 or 40 years, and now that's not going to happen. I mean, that's what it really comes down to. Nobody wants to do the snow removal. Nobody wants to be tied down all winter. I talked to Dave and Steve, and I don't think they're real hot about doing this either, to tell you the truth. But, I mean, I think you guys need to talk to them, but
But what's interesting, Robert, is that at budget time, when the budget was being prepared, the commissioners had the foresight to realize that there's going to need to be extra monies for the airport because there are certain duties, like you said, the snow removal, that you're not going to want to do anymore. Road and bridge is going to be overwhelmed. So they have budgeted to look at hiring someone to do that.
good.
But the issue that we have is that those monies are not technically available until January 1. So, there is planning and,
Well, Good, I'm glad to hear that. I would say that I know for a fact that at other airports around the area, the city/county does do the snow removal on the airports. So it's not like an impossible thing. Not every airport, but some of them. And I don't actually know. That's the other thing you guys might want to consider is calling around to a half a dozen different airports and asking them what they're doing. I mean, you might get some insights. Because I don't know, and it's hard for me to make those. First of all, it's not my job to make those phone calls, and secondly, it's hard for me to make them because I don't have the authority that you do. If I call them up, it sounds like I'm fishing and like I'm being nosy. If you guys call commissioner to commissioner or commissioner to city council, I think you could probably get a lot more information in the phone call than I would.
I think the question now is trying to find someone that would be interested. That's the big question right now. And if someone is interested in that portion, then it can be arranged, it can be looked at because it's been budgeted.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is that, the contract is an annual contract, and so we still have to negotiate what is, with the existing contract, it expires on December 31st.
Yes.
And so if there is going to be an agreement in place, then we still need to be, negotiating for 2022.
Yeah, and the agreement that I put, before you was for November 15th, and that's the date I'd like to get this, done. And that's why I'm saying November 1st, I'm withdrawing that because it's going to take at least 2 weeks for me to train whoever's going to do this. So, my offer expires on November 1st. Maybe there's somebody else, and that'd be great. It's not going to break my heart if you find somebody else to take care of the airport. The only reason I'm still offering it is because I know it's a problem for you. It was a year ago that I sold my business, but I didn't dump it on you guys in November of last year, November of 2020, because I knew that wouldn't give you enough time to deal with it. But now it's been a year, and so look, if you get somebody else to do this, that's wonderful. That'll be great. I'm completely happy with that. If you want me to do it, I'd like a decision because I need to plan. I need to make,
Right.
If you guys don't do anything by November 1st and this thing goes to December 31st, I'm bound to do that, and I will. But on January 1st, you don't have an airport operator. I mean, that's what I want you guys to focus on. If this is going to happen on January 1st, there's going to be nobody taking care of the airport.
I haven't had time to really read this. Are there 2 hangars that the county owns up there?
Yes.
Okay. So I just, I will read this later, but so what's going to happen if you step out in those hangars? Do they just come back to the county, then we rent them out for airplane space?
I guess one of them, I don't know that it's
Okay.
just an old metal building.
Okay.
But yeah, they would become, the county could do it. Well, I don't know.
Right.
If the new operator, if it
Right.
wasn't me, if they had the hangar, then it would be up to them to decide what to do with it. If the new operator agreement didn't include
Right.
the hangars, then
You've done a great job all this time. I just haven't had time to look through this. And
That's fine.
I kind of understand where everybody's saying, you've run it this long, and I would love to have you keep running it. But I don't, I guess we're going to have more discussion about that, correct?
the issue is the snow removal. I'm proposing to do everything for a reduction in monthly stipend. I'm proposing to do everything that I've been doing except for the snow removal. That's the only difference in this contract, and it changes the date to November, and that's just because that's when the start of snow season is, or, roughly. So I'm willing to do the airport, all the other airport stuff, the other 2 or 3 pages of that agreement, but I don't want to do the snow removal, and frankly, nobody does. I mean, that's
Do you
what it
think
comes
we
down to.
should put an ad in the paper for someone to do that? And
That wouldn't,
Wait a-
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to
Well,
see if
wait, I
anyone's
think-
interested in doing snow
you know.
removal at the airport.
And I really do think, maybe you guys need to call 2 or 3 surrounding towns and ask them what they're doing.
That's a good idea, yeah. So we should get into that.
Because I don't know it. I don't actually know. I know in some cases the city county does it because I've had the operators tell me the city county does it. But I don't know I mean, I don't have an overview of all the different, I mean, you know, there's Holyoke, Ray, Colby, Burlington, Goodland, Atwood. I don't know what they're doing at all those places, because I'm not, you know, I just don't talk to those
Yeah.
guys.
Well, do we want to postpone it until the next meeting and figure out exactly what we're going to do? Maybe we can have a meeting in between.
Well, the airport commission is going to meet on the 10th, and I think you want them to talk about this, and I'm perfectly happy to talk to them. I mean, it's a good commission, and they're good people. The problem is they don't have, they're not signatories to this agreement. I mean, they really can't sign. I mean, they can advise you, but they can't sign the document or not sign it, which is okay. I mean, if you guys say to me tomorrow, look, we're going to get somebody else, that's great. Then I'll know what's going on and I can plan my life. But
I think the reason that it was suggested that, you know, meeting with the airport commission is that there might be someone who is on the airport commission that may be interested, or they might know someone who might be interested.
it's possible.
But until that discussion is had, we don't know.
Yep. I mean, that could happen. We'll see.
Do we want to postpone it till the next meeting after they've had their meeting?
They're going to meet on the 10th, I think. It's that Monday. I think
So
it's the 10th.
the meeting would be on the 15th.
15th, so
So
we-
that would be timely.
I'm not sure if I can. I guess you don't need me at the meeting. I don't know that you do. I'm not sure. I might be out of town on the 15th.
Friday.
No, I could, if you wanted me, I could be here at the 15th. Just tell me if you do or you don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have, that's all I've got. I just want to move this along. I just want resolution one way or the other.
I can-
And I think
I
that's
can
good for the
understand
county too. I mean, this uncertainty, I don't think it's good for the county any more than it is for me. I mean,
Yeah,
this
it's
is
not
a-
good for either one of us.
Right.
So why don't we do that? We'll wait till after their meeting and then we'll figure out exactly what we want to do.
Okay, that's great.
And in the meantime, we'll be doing some research and questioning and et cetera, so that on the 15th, hopefully a final decision can be made.
I mean, if you guys have money in your budget for this, maybe you need to talk to Steve and Dave and see if you can use that money some way to hire somebody via the county, or maybe there's some third party out there that would do it. I mean, one argument
We've
that,
already talked to Dave, and they're going to talk about it at the next meeting.
okay, Dave Yost or Dave Dave?
Dave Yost.
No, yeah, I'm talking about Dave and Steve, those guys. I mean, Dave Fleming and Steve Wilhelm. Right. I'm going to be at that October 10th Airport Commission meeting, so I can see what they say there, and I'll give them whatever input they want, but I don't know.
Well, I know that Rollins County, the county does the mowing and the snow removal.
Do they? Yeah, I didn't know about that one.
And I visited with the road and bridge supervisor, and they said it's a real inconvenience sometimes for their crew.
Yeah. I would believe that.
So that's why I'm really hesitant about dumping it on our road and bridge.
I get it. They don't want it for the same reason that I don't want it, and the same reason I think that nobody else wants it, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's somebody out there that does. I mean, I hope so.
Okay, well, why don't we do that? We'll
Now,
visit.
do you want me at the October 15th meeting, or you want to just contact me, or, I mean,
I think it'd be beneficial if you were here.
okay, I'll put it on my calendar.
Okay.
All right, guys, thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.
You want to get done?
Yep. She'll be here in just a minute.
Pardon?
She'll be here in just a minute.
Okay.
She went to get her
I
mask.
think somebody like Brock McAtee would move snow,
Yeah.
and he might do it with his own equipment. He removes snow from Dollar General and some different places.
Who does that?
Brock McAtee.
Yeah, he might be interested.
You know,
Well, like I said, I mean, until you put it out there that this is available, if anyone is interested, you aren't going to know. So,
We have
The
to
only
do
thing
that
would be
anyway.
Like you said, the FAA, that would be something that'd have to be trained.
right.
But paying somebody a part-time job of $525 a month to mow and remove snow, they're not gonna be there every day. They can probably mow that in 2 days with our equipment.
Well, and that could be negotiated.
But I mean, that would be a really nice part-time job for somebody,
yeah.
I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Sounds like a good job for me.
I was gonna say, you signing yourself up for it?
You were just talking about, snow removal.
Good.
Okay, what do you have for us?
I negotiate a higher price for you, agree to it.
So I finished balancing through April of '21. So I'll start on May, probably tomorrow. Bank accounts, the main checking accounts I've reconciled as well. I'm not doing the littler ones because I'm just trying to get everything to hit the funds and make sure that the main checking accounts are balanced. I have found a few things, so I've made some adjustments in the office. And I don't know if we'll have to go into maybe 5 minutes of executive sessions for that, but or not. That's either way is fine. So April was really not awesome to balance. There was a lot of stuff. I'm assuming May is going to be the same way, since that was the month that she was ousted. But we're getting through it. So prepay, I'm going to change prepay up. Right now, it's a courtesy to the taxpayers, which I don't mind doing. But it was intended to be more like an escrow program for property tax for people that don't have mortgages, that escrow their property tax for them. We would escrow their property monthly and then apply to their property tax. We are now more of a savings account, Christmas fund, vacation fund. People were withdrawing, $100 a month for people, and we're holding it, and then they come in and they want a check for $1,000, and we give them a check for $1,000, and they go on vacation or buy Christmas presents or whatever. So it's more of a savings account for them, so they don't spend their money. It's become more of a liability issue and more of a tracking issue for me, instead of just an escrow program for property tax. CIC does have an escrow program built into the tax system that we already have. Previously, it was a separate program that you had to purchase and have training on, and I know Dolores had come to the commission at least twice to get approval for that. It was like $1,200 to $1,500 previously when she had done it. I contacted CIC. They said it is actually now part of it, and the training is free and online, and I actually have a training this afternoon for it. So I can instead of me having a spreadsheet tracking everybody's ins and outs, the CIC system will actually track their ins and outs and apply it, and it is more of an escrow program specifically for property tax. So once I get prepay spreadsheet balanced and know where everybody's ending balances are, I'll transfer that over into the escrow program and let everybody know and close out the Christmas fund accounts and the vacation fund accounts. And
So basically what you're saying is with this prepay, that it is solely going to be used for real estate taxes, and if there is any sort of overage, like they've overpaid their taxes, only then will they get a refund or a choice in regards to refund or apply to next year? Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the escrow program it knows what the property taxes were last year, and so it pre-calculates out a monthly payment, and so we can let them know, and they can round up, because I always round up. If it's $52.83, I'll just round up to 55 to have a little extra, that type of thing. But it'll calculate a payment out for them. It calculates a contract for them to sign, and then we can adjust. And then every month when the auto draft comes into our account, then we would just apply it into CIC stating, that $55 has hit our account, therefore it hit, and it's tied to that property address, so that in November or December, when we're paying taxes, it'll tell us this property now has this tax amount, and they've already prepaid this much in their escrow account, and it'll apply it, and they can carry that balance over to May and just continue, or we can refund it. So I'm hoping, just from reading through the manual that I kind of skimmed for this afternoon's class, it seems pretty slick and pretty self-explanatory, and takes the liability off of me of balancing this, and it cleans it up.
That's not something that we have to vote on, right? She can just remove it herself?
No, this is just informational.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's because I'm just transferring it from a spreadsheet to the actual program,
Okay.
now that the program is free.
Now, okay.
So,
Did you say you needed 5 minutes of executive session?
I think so. Yeah, 5 minutes should do it.
For what?
Non-elected.
Non-elected?
Yeah.
Make a motion for 5 minutes executive session for non-elected personnel.
Second.
Okay, it's been first and seconded, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, 5 minutes of executive
Yep,
session.
perfect. 5 minutes, guys.